What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Ross Bros podcast. So obviously we're all brothers, and this is our first episode. So this is like the intro episode where we basically want to talk about why we're doing this, who we are. This is the first one, so I guess this is going to be helpful when people want to understand who we are, what we're doing it. They can just check on this one. So why don't we start with some intros? Let's start over here.
So we're going right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so my name is Arnau, and I'm
That's so official.
I'm a YouTuber, designer.
I guess you're officially a YouTuber now.
Officially a YouTuber since May, probably.
Yeah.
And
how much money are you making?
I'm just kidding. And I have my own channel, my own.
What are you at? What are you at in terms of subs?
Today we're at 28.4.
And you started the channel how long ago?
We started the channel August of 2020 as a COVID project. But other than that, we're also building products, building SaaSes.
Yeah.
And yeah, why don't you take it away?
Well, hold on.
But we got another YouTuber in the house over here.
Hold on.
We got another YouTuber.
That's right. After seeing how well Arnau's channel went, I decided that, well, actually, we had a really long conversation about whether I should start a channel. And I eventually did. And it has been by far the greatest investment I've ever made in terms of like my time and my money, but whatever, we can get into that later. But yeah, so I'm also currently on YouTube. I have a channel. You guys should check it out, Jaume Ross. Yeah, talk about SEO stuff. And currently I'm working for a startup that's like my full time, and then on the side I have an agency where I basically take on smaller clients and do that. I also have a course that's live, and
wow, so we're upselling on the podcast as well.
I'm just going for it. And yeah, and so the least successful brother, your name is
that is doubtful. I'm Guillem.
Guillem.
Yeah, I don't know if I really want to do this like whole. Hi, I run this thing.
I mean, we can introduce it for you if you want, if that makes you feel better.
I'm running Hevy, which is like a fitness app.
Yep.
Fitness tech company. And yeah. Why are we doing this podcast?
Well, hold on. How many users is Hevy at? Because I think it's important. It's important just to because we're going to look back on this and we want to know like where we were at. Which, by the way,
I mean, we'll get into it.
I'm almost at 5K subs. So
almost.
Pretty anyway, so you go.
January 27th, 2020.
I don't know what to share really.
Have you just crossed 1 million users? So that's a pretty big deal. We were all really stoked about that. Anything else you want to add? You guys got a big team now?
Yeah.
We
started Hevy around 3.5 years ago or something. We're at 10 people working on the team, and we just crossed 1 million users.
How do you feel about that?
Next up is 10 million.
10 million.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It's just growing and we're doing cool things on the product. And yeah, but what's going on with this podcast? I think that's
true.
Why are we sitting down here? What brought us here?
I think it's a bunch of reasons, but for me personally, I think the main is just documentation, right? I think we're all at a point in our lives where things are like really starting to happen. And things are starting to pick up. It's gonna be really cool to look back and see not where we came from, but like how we got started. And if we tell all these stories, I think it's cool. I don't know. That's my, yeah. What about you guys? Do you guys even want to do this?
No, for me, it's that as well. Like, to be honest, I feel kind of jealous when I look at YouTubers having their podcasts because they have this like documentation of their life, and they like basically have an excuse to like talk to cool people. They have an excuse to like learn from others and have like pretty cool conversations that are like recorded, and you can like look back on them. Plus, like, you know, like it looks really fun to, or at least to watch other podcasts. So I was like, fuck.
Are we swearing?
We're swearing. Yeah, we're swearing a little bit. So I was like,
monetized, are we?
Why not?
I don't know if you can get monetized.
Yeah, I thought it could be a cool excuse to also have these conversations and to leave everything recorded and document our life and look back in 10 years and be like, wow, that was fucking cool. And hopefully we can keep it going for a while.
This is the first and last episode. Arnau, any thoughts?
For me, it's documentation, but also when we talk to a lot of people and we explain to them what we're doing, and the fact that we're three brothers and we're all doing pretty different things than the typical job, the typical 9 to 5, that it's interesting to other people. It's interesting to hear about and to hear how people did it. And this is almost like a reference for other people to not get inspired or anything, but it's a reference for people to look at how we did it, almost like a guide map. It's also for me to document the progression of where we are in terms of building things, in terms of, I don't know, if one of us gets acquired at some point or something, that we can catch it in the wave, and we can talk about it. We can talk about the decisions, about the thought process. And I think that's super valuable for other people listening as wantrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. And also maybe one day we can get Gary Vee or something.
Gary Vee's the goal. Gary Vee's the goal. You know how there's that one guy, who is it? Matt Diavella. You know how Matt Diavella, he has like that one goal of getting The Rock on his podcast?
The Rock?
The Rock.
Insane.
Gary Vee could be our guy.
Gary Vee would be insane.
If we get Gary Vee, we've made it. We can just shut it down. Also, I do want to add that I think another reason to do this podcast is for our parents. That way they can tune in and they can see what we're doing.
And for money.
And for money.
We
What?
can make $1 million.
No. Okay.
This video is sponsored by
I think this is worth talking about.
NordVPN.
What are your goals with the podcast? Because for me, it really is like documentation purposes. Like, I don't really care if it's listened by 1,000 or 100,000 people or just 0, and it just stays as like a form of documentation. What are your goals? Because I think maybe they're a little different.
Yeah, I mean,
like, do you want it to grow and be the number one podcast?
I'd love it.
Or...
I'd love it to grow because
Really?
Yeah, I'd love to grow because I think it's also an excuse to talk to really cool people. Like that's what I've seen with my channel. It's like, even with a tiny audience, people are really willing to talk to you, and it's like an excuse to speak to people. I just spoke to Sam O, which in the reference in the YouTube space, he's like,
about that as well.
Nah, we'll talk about that later. But in the reference in the YouTube space, he's like one of the most well-known creators. He's obviously like the face of the Ahrefs YouTube channel. And this is someone that I looked up to for quite a long time. I learned a lot from him. And just because I had 4,000 whatever subscribers, he just decided to like get on a call with me, and we spoke about a bunch
almost
of stuff.
5,000.
Almost 5,000. Yeah, we're almost there. But so like and subscribe if you guys are watching. But so I think it's a really great excuse to meet people. I think it's also we're always trying to level up, right? And in terms of, I think one of the easiest ways of leveling up is leveling up the people around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really hard to find those people that are doing those things that are different from everybody else, right? And this is a really clear signal to people that, hey, we're actually serious about this. Come sit down, come meet us, come talk to us about whatever. But also, if no one watches this, I couldn't give less of a shit.
That's true. The surrounding yourself with people and like 10xing that way. Like this week and last week, Desmond, my co-founder on Hevy, and I, a few weeks ago, we were like, God damn it, like we really need to like get out there in the like tech space or the business space. Like we don't have any contacts, we don't have any network. We really need to get to know people. And then within a matter of like 5 or 6 days, like 3 or 4 like pretty cool people got in touch with me. I got on a podcast for the first time last week. I spoke to a couple of really successful entrepreneurs. I'm meeting another one in an hour for lunch. And just through those conversations with these people that have had more success or that have had like really interesting lives, like I feel like I'm just like picking up things that I really like from them, and like leveling up or like learning a lot from them, So the podcast is like, I guess that, but a bit more officialized or something.
Yeah.
Or like it's also like more constant.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. What are your goals with the podcast? Do you want to take over the world?
For me, it's a world takeover, domination.
Pure vanity.
But it's also showing people and connecting with people that we might be similar to. And also, if people see us three as a unit, as a force, then it's a different system that if it's just us three going at it individually at something. But if it's us three in a podcast or in whatever, and we get cool guests and we get cool whatever, and the connections can really grow. And apart from documenting, I do think it's cool if this grows to something that a lot of people can tune in on. I mean, I don't know any numbers, but I think everybody starts YouTube or whatever thinking, okay, I only want like 1,000 subs, and then you get 1,000 subs, and then you go to the next one, and then the next milestone, and the next milestone. So thinking from that logically, in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, okay, I don't really care if anybody listens to it. It's because it's documentation as well. But then you get one viewer, and you're like, well, what would it be with like 10 viewers? And then what would it be with like 100 viewers? And then once you get 100 viewers, you know, it's the big leagues.
So where are we based?
Toronto.
We're not based in Toronto.
I currently live in Madrid, but these two rascals live in Barcelona, which is where we're from originally.
So what's our network like in Barcelona? Inexistent.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the hardest things that we've spoken a bunch about, but it's like, how do you meet those people that are doing different things? And actually in Madrid now, I've gotten pretty lucky randomly at playing some soccer game. I met a couple of people that are really interesting. Football, excuse me. Once you meet one person, then they introduce you to their network. But it's really, really hard to like make those new connections of people that are really like doing things differently. Because I think also those people they like to hold off on sharing their secrets and sharing their growth. And I mean, there's not that many people that are doing crazy things and also want to talk about it, right? So yeah, I don't know. Network is pretty inexistent.
I think that like creating a platform to meet with other people is like a hack to meet people and have a network.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Dude, just look at Bernat and the EPI'S people. I don't know if you guys aren't familiar. I used to work for a company that was inside this accelerator called EPI'S. It's really well known in Spain and in Barcelona. The founder of EPI'S and his co-founder basically have a podcast where they've spoken to any entrepreneur, anybody who's big, any big name.
Except for me.
Except for me. Chip on his shoulder. So it's crazy. Like, it's an excuse to meet people, and he's doing it so where he's killing it. So it's really cool to see. So if that happens, it's cool. I don't know, your network, how's it going?
My network in Barcelona at least is limited, but in terms of network remote and online, I'd say it's popping. I think I have a lot of friends, connections online, and
why is that?
The space that I'm in, I do a lot of web design, a lot of Webflow, Figma, things like that. And so that world lives on Twitter, lives on LinkedIn more than Instagram or anything. But connecting with people remote is easier than finding those random people at the co-work or whatever. I mean, there's one person that we know who's into that in our network. But other than that, it's a very remote, established industry. So finding people like that, I mean, it's as easy as just going to a meetup and finding people that are into that. But maybe it's not scary, but maybe I just want to connect with people that are more entrepreneurial and less like dev focused or less web design focused.
So on the entrepreneurial route, like, is this what this podcast is about? What is this podcast about? What do we want to talk about? What are our interests?
Yeah, I want to take over. I think we all feel the same way. Like, we basically want to create a life where we can sustain ourselves pretty decently while working on projects that we're like interested in and passionate about. But I think the main goal is owning those projects, right? It's like starting our own things and kind of setting our own schedules, our own times. And obviously you're pretty far ahead. Not that far, but but you have a pretty good start.
5 years older.
Yeah, 5 years older than me too. I don't know.
You're
2 years older, and
so I think that's the goal. And but the goal of this podcast, is that what you asked? What was the question?
Yeah, like what do we want to talk about on the podcast?
Yeah, so I think the main thing is just like sharing our stories, no? Because I think it's kind of cool how things just like keep happening to us.
Well, not even keep happening, but we keep asking for things to happen.
Right.
And
things
fall into place.
Yeah. And there's a few things in the works that we'll be able to share more when they're official. But for now, it's just interesting to see things happening to the three of us around the same time, right? And so I think the goal is to share that, maybe to help people also do like different things, you know, not stick to like the same old boring path that everyone goes on.
So are we only talking business? Are we only talking entrepreneurial stuff?
Well, I was about to go on a carnivore diet, so are we going to talk about that?
You can talk about whatever you want. If you want to talk about your love life, then go for it. For me, it's more of an entrepreneurial adventure and just documenting entrepreneurship. I wanted to call the podcast "Catching the Wave" because I want to catch these events and these moments that we keep asking for it to happen.
It's a good name.
I was outvoted, outranked, so we can. I think we can talk about anything, but my goal is to focus on entrepreneurship and YouTube and growth and making it.
For me, it's a bit more. It's a bit more varied. Like if this is going to be like a format that we like talk through for the next few months or hopefully a few years, then I don't know. I find it interesting to talk about like everything, like health, wealth, happiness, habits. Yeah, I'm interested in a lot of these things. Obviously now
I agree.
Running this fitness tech company with Desmond. So I'm really interested in the fitness space and like the health space. Like I'd love to one day also talk about like Brian Johnson. Yesterday we were talking about this, I don't think billionaire, but 100 millionaire.
Yeah.
That's like reducing his age, his epigenetic age or something by like 6 years.
Biological.
Just like throwing money at the problem and hiring like a bunch of doctors and anyways, I find that kind of shit interesting as well. Not just like business stuff, but
I don't know if I'm a fan of the swearing. I don't know. Maybe I'm like YouTube trained at this point, and I just don't. So yeah, I do want to talk about why we started like the projects that we're working on now. So Arnau, tell us why you started the YouTube channel, and also tell people, because I don't know if you talked about this on your YouTube channel. Tell people about that 6 to 7 to 8 month process where you literally had no views, but you just
Groveling piles of dirt, dude.
Yeah, you just kept publishing videos like a degenerate.
So I started the channel because I watched. Well, basically, I've always watched YouTube, and I watched this one creator specifically called Ran Segal from Flux, and he's a web designer, does similar topics that I do now. But he had a course where he talked about one of the main ways of getting clients as a web designer is either you go to them or they come to you. And I'm the type of personality where I'm not gonna go to them because I'm introverted or whatever you want to call it, but I just don't have the type of energy. And then I said, okay, well, if these big channels, big YouTubers have like Chris Doe, like Ran, like all these people are getting a ton of clients. That's what I thought, are getting a ton of clients through YouTube. Then this is something that I could do as well. So I decided to start the channel and go about this journey, this process. And the reason why I did it, the main reason why I did it is because, well, first of all, we had COVID. So it was kind of like I had nothing else to do at that point. We were at home. And the second is I realized that if I didn't do it, that I'd be looking back at it, wishing that I had started it or like wondering what would have happened. And obviously I'm happy that I did do it. Looking back on it now.
For you, I feel like it's always been like YouTube has always been this thing for you. And recurringly over the years, it was always like, fuck, I should have started it 1 year ago. Like imagine if I had started a year ago. Like we had those conversations so many times when you were younger.
With YouTube?
Yeah, with YouTube. I remember that.
I do remember that.
Because you actually started a channel.
We're not gonna talk about that.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk
Shout
about
out the username right now. Beast22.
But you had those like early beginnings in YouTube, like even though they weren't mega successful, but you always had this interest in it, right?
Well, I had an interest in creating. I think creating anything is something that we're all interested in, but YouTube looked like an avenue where I could express my desire to create or whatever, or show my creativity either through the content that I'm talking about or the quality of the video or the audio or whatever. So it's kind of like a pragmatic way of showing your creativity.
Can you tell us about those first 8 months?
Yeah, true.
I don't know if it was 8 months, but I started the account May of 2020.
Mid-COVID.
Full COVID.
Lockdown.
So I started the account I ordered this cheap microphone, the tripod,
Camera?
not the camera. I was using my phone, but I bought all this equipment. I started the account, and I was so scared of posting because of what people might think and what, you know, the no names, what random people would think, that I put it off for 4 months until August. And in August, I decided to start posting, and I started posting about contracts and freelancing and things that I just found easy to talk about. And I realized that right after I posted the first video, that nothing happened. I didn't get any views.
No one cares.
I didn't get any subs. No one cared. And yeah, that trend continued for a long time, as unfortunate as that is. But it kept not growing, or not growing fast at all, for months and months and months and months, because I was in the process of growing for SEO rather than trying to trend, because all the videos that I saw were about how to grow on YouTube, were about going SEO first so that you can get authority on your channel and making sure that your channel has a name and blah, blah, blah. So for the first 6 months, I gained 100 subs, and that was weekly videos every single week, every single Monday still, without missing a week for 6 months. So that was, yeah, just a lot of videos, a lot of
It's interesting.
creation.
It's interesting because like when you look back on it, you're gonna be like, that was probably the craziest thing I've ever done. Because to do anything over, I mean, I'd guess 6 months isn't that long, but
No.
to do anything for 6 months and to like actually try and actually put in all your effort and publish these videos and get absolutely no recognition. Like, you're publishing videos and getting like 5 views.
Well, it's not even no recognition. It's anti-recognition. It's people looking at you. Yeah, people like you tell people about your channel, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing this for 0 views, 0 subs?" And yeah, over time, thankfully, it's been growing more and more. And now the 6 months that it took me to get 100 subs, I get them in a day sometimes.
Let's go.
1 day or 2. So it's still in the process of there's still so much potential for the channel, but it's definitely thankful that those days are over, the slow growth. And yeah, now now it's linear still, but exponential's definitely on the rise.
So how many videos have you published, or how many weeks in a row have you been publishing?
Except for 2 weeks where I was not available to post. I've posted for 2 years, 2 years and a half or something. So now it's
Over 150 videos? No, over 125 videos?
Yeah, 125 videos, something like that. 130, I think. And now we're doing shorts as well, so we're growing that. But yeah, it's about the consistency. That's what's growing it.
What about Hevy?
It's about Hevy.
No. I want to talk about your YouTube channel.
Okay, you can deflect that. I will gladly speak about my YouTube channel. Definitely go
continue.
like and subscribe. I'm the smallest channel in the room.
Continuing on the
This is the smallest channel.
continuing on the YouTube topic.
Yeah, so basically for me, I saw Arnau did as like a massive motivator, because I saw the growth, right? I saw him posting, I saw the work that he was putting in, and I saw that it was paying off, right? He ended up getting a job pretty quickly. A client reached out to him, or it was a subscriber or someone.
Yeah, a potential viewer saw my videos. He reached out for a project, and that project developed into a long-term retainer job client, whatever.
So
Yeah,
you
and so
became a creative director.
I became a creative director through that job. But anyways,
yeah, enough about you. No, but so I saw that, and at the time I was working for the startup, and I was a head of SEO, which whatever that title was also kind of silly, just because the startup was super toxic. I wasn't having a great time, and Arnau was like, "Dude, you should start a channel," because it's also important to note that I had this team of interns, and it was almost on the daily that I was explaining the basic SEO things. And I was like, you know what the hell? Like, why don't I make a video where they can just look at all the things that I'm explaining? And then I took all the knowledge and information that Arnau had. I decided to follow his steps. So in terms of
you avoided
so
you jumped over the mud.
Yeah. So Arnau crawled over broken glass so I could sprint, basically, is like the equivalent here, because for me, the growth, it was a lot faster than his at the start. And that's even taking into account that I'm in a very, very specific niche, which is SEO, which stands for search engine. I'm just kidding. Go check out my channel, like and subscribe. And so So my channel, it grew a lot faster right off the bat. And and now I'm at a similar situation where Arnau was at when he started, where basically a subscriber reviewer of mine ended up offering me a job, and now that's like my full-time job. And now basically my channel is like it's like accidentally a lead generation machine, right? And it's just people see you speaking about something, they see that you're well versed, that you can communicate properly, and that you actually know what you're talking about, and then they'll offer you anything really. Like they're just ready to throw money at you, which is honestly like the craziest discovery I've ever made in my life. And we speak about it a lot. It feels like a hack even to like have a YouTube channel and to just show your face once a week. Do it consistently for a period of like 6 months to a year, and your life will 100% change. And so that's something that I saw, and yeah, that's my origin story.
What does it mean that you jumped through the mud? You jumped over the mud.
Yeah. So again, he crawled over glass.
Yeah. So,
so I could sprint. So
yeah, you didn't need to find out if tags mattered, if the title said in a certain way matters, if the thumbnail should have a face or not, or the colors,
it's just even something as simple as like being a good editor. I just took Arnau's editor. And he's a great guy. Jamie.
Shout out to Jamie.
Shout out to Jamie. And yeah, everything. Just like talking about engagement, talking about click-through rates, talking about things that he had worked on for like a year. I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that and I'm going to do it, you know? So yeah, so obviously super grateful. And he currently owns a 25% stake in all my YouTube revenue. He doesn't, not yet. You probably should. Talk to us about Hevy, dude. Talk to us about Hevy and our share in the company.
Oh, you're sharing the company. We started Hevy with Desmond about 3.5 years ago. The idea from it came because back in the day in university, I was doing triathlons. And during triathlons, we were doing it like with a team. So it was like really fun to train with the team, go running, go biking, go swimming, log everything on Strava. And then we'd like compete against each other in like different segments, have like different personal records. And it would just be like a really cool community, also in person, like training together. When I started working in Berlin at this company called 8Fit, which was a crazy startup experience. We can talk about that another day. But I started going to the gym and whatever. I left 8Fit or was fired from 8Fit, or a lot of people
fired.
A lot of people were laid off.
It made you redundant.
A lot of people were laid off at 8Fit at a certain point, change of direction or different CEO, whatever. And I realized like it's really lonely to go to the gym. It's really lonely. So I was tracking my workouts with some app at the time. And I was like, I wonder if we can replicate this like Strava experience, but for the gym. So like basically tracking, analyzing workouts and the community side. So yeah, Desmond and I kind of built an MVP, launched it on my Instagram, just through like friends and family, asking everyone to like write a review on the App Store, and we're off to the races. And like we've just been like obsessing over product these past like 3.5 years, to the point where like, you know, marketing barely mattered or like monetization barely mattered. We just really want to focus on building the best like workout tracking tool, so that, you know, it's not in the way when you're trying to log a workout, or it's not a pain in the ass to log this workout in the gym. And yeah, like it kind of started growing, I'd say the year after COVID. So like 2021. Well, we also like launched just before COVID, which was definitely not the luckiest thing in the world, because we were starting to pick up some momentum in the US, but then like everything shut down, all the gyms shut down and stuff. So I'd say that maybe we got like set back like 1 year or something because of COVID, 1.5 years. But yeah, it started picking up in like 2021, and then last year, 2022, we like grew quite a bit. And yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we just celebrated 1 million users, which is mind-boggling. That's 7 figures. That's a lot of zeros. But yeah, it's been really intense for 2.5 years. I think it was just me and Desmond. And then we like slowly started hiring customer support first, then a couple devs, then a team for content marketing, which you helped set up the SEO for Hevy. And yeah, like now it's just like kind of growing to a bit of a bigger team. We're like 10 people, starting to explore maybe working on other products, and obviously like keep focusing on Hevy. But yeah, it's going pretty well.
Are you still going to the gym?
I'm still going to the gym.
Do you use your app?
I use my app, yeah. Let's see how many workouts I have on the app.
The crazy number is how many followers he has on Hevy.
Nah, that's fake, but well, it's not fake, but
Yeah, he just plug his profile as soon as you make an account. So
I have 452 workouts on Hevy.
And how long you been going to the gym?
Basically since we released the apps, like July 2019, and that's pretty insane for me because before Hevy, I was like, I didn't really know what to do, and I wasn't really consistent about it. And I feel like the consistency part, I still have to work on it. But Hevy has like really helped me to at least do one workout per week. You know, it's that social pressure. It's also the fact that we have a streak system, a
Mhm.
weekly streak.
Yeah.
So I don't want to break that, and I want to keep going to the gym and being consistent. But yeah, 452 workouts is like insane, and it's
What's your streak? At?
really it's 194 weeks. And yeah, it's like really helped me to take it more seriously, and I feel a lot more healthy. I have a lot of back problems as well, so yeah, just like staying active for me like really helps out my back. And now I'm learning a bit more about mobility and how that can
Do you
help me as
stretch?
well. Yeah, Jaume has been insisting on me to stretch for
Listen, I think that most of the world's problems can be solved by literally just a stretch. So,
by stretching.
no, I've just been telling you to stretch for a long time, and he never listens. And now he's starting. He's like, "Oh my god, my back feels better." So that's
Well, not stretching
that's
exactly.
strange.
It's more
Sure,
like mobility work.
you hear what you want to hear, my guy.
But-
So what has this process been like, right? Because Hevy's been, you guys have been working on it for what, like 4 years now?
Yeah, 3.5 years.
3.5, 4 years. How has it changed, right? Because obviously you started off with, it was just you and Desmond. It was you doing a lot of the work. You guys weren't making money for I don't know how long. And now when I see you, when I come to Barcelona and I see you, it's like you're on calls all day.
Mm.
So it's interesting how that's changed, right? How
Yeah. So in the very beginning, it was just me and Desmond in Berlin together. We'd get together at a Starbucks at Checkpoint Charlie, which didn't even check that we were like if we were paying anything or not. We would just like sit down, maybe get like the the cheapest tea or like black coffee or something, and they had plugs and Wi-Fi, and it was great. Like we just like sit down together and just like smash out features and designs, and we just like be constantly like collaborating with each other all the time. Our brains were like fused together into one just by like being around each other all the time. And then I moved to Barcelona. COVID happened, and we suddenly went remote. So like when we went remote, that was like a big period of adaptation for us. Like we didn't really know like whether we had to do like daily calls. Daily calls turned out to be like too intense. Then, you know, every couple of days, and you know, we were slowly like starting to find our way through like going remote, turning into a remote team. And we kind of like settled into the groove of just doing calls whenever we really needed to. And with two people, it's kind of easy to organize that. But then as soon as we started growing, you know, my work before used to be just being on Sketch all the time.
Sketch versus Figma? Leave your comments.
Leave your comments.
Yeah, so I was just designing all the time and like focusing on marketing. So I wasn't on calls at all because I also wasn't like managing anyone. Then we started hiring some people. We hired some devs, a marketing manager, a designer. And now my job is to like enable these people to do the best possible work that they can do, you know, and to set up a vision for the company and like keep communicating that vision and like allocating resources in different parts of the company and like thinking big. So yeah, my work has really changed because it goes from like working on your own on a computer and this like design software to just like now you're a communicator to
Just a
people.
manager.
Yeah, now I'm managing, which pros and cons. Pros and cons.
What's next for you?
What's next for me? I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, I can't really talk about. I can't. So I don't know.
Next podcast.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about how often we want to do this. How often do we want to?
Sure.
Because
And afterwards, I'm going to ask a question that I think is going to generate a lot of debate over time.
okay,
But let's see.
Figma versus Sketch. So, as we've seen, well, as I've come to grasp a pattern that seems to be working out really well with all of our projects is consistency, right? So, if we want this project to grow, we need to be consistent with it. How often do we want to publish?
Well, you live in Madrid.
We can
The
do this
ideal
as well.
thing is once a week, but that's obviously not going to happen. So the next ideal thing is every 2 weeks.
So do we
depends when we're together next.
want to do it always in person or Zoom?
Let's say I'd say try to do it in person.
Even if like the two of you are in person and I'm over Zoom or whatever, that's already sick. And then whenever we can, we get together. I mean, dude, the My First Million guys, they do it full remote a lot of the times. So
A remote podcast.
yeah. I do think that like the in person, seeing what we're wearing, seeing like
in person has different energy.
different energy, and also recording. I think that's also really cool. We also need to get multiple cameras, I think, because this angle, people are gonna get tired of just looking at the side of
Multiple cameras and probably just like figuring out a better space for the podcast.
Yeah. Maybe we can just buy an office.
Buy an office. No, but actually, there's a co-working that I went to a while ago that they just like rent out these like rooms, and they look amazing. Like it's really well lit, like nice decoration, great space.
We wanted to do this podcast a year ago or some time ago, but we never ended up doing it because it wasn't the right time. But now that our projects are a little bit more mature and we have more to talk about, we finally come together.
Yeah. So this was the question: whose idea was it to start the podcast?
I think it was mine.
Who's your idea?
Yeah, I think it was mine.
How long ago?
I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. 10, 15 years. I've been thinking about it for a really long time. No, I actually don't know, but I'll take credit for anything.
I think it was yours, but you said you wanted to do it as what was it called? Like life lessons or something?
Yeah, but that was like a couple years ago.
Yeah, but that was the first time you talked about it. And then we were like, nah, we're not gonna call it life lessons.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, we decided that it'd be good to do something, because I think this only works if it's focused on entrepreneurialism. And that's kind of where it's
Would you call yourself an entrepreneur?
No.
Entrepreneurialism.
Not yet.
Let's go.
Not yet. Okay. I gotta sell something too. Entrepreneur. Would you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
No, that's all.
We're all entrepreneurs. Well, he's an entrepreneur. We're entrepreneurs. Until we sell something or we have a decent.
I'm taking over.
That was a course.
I'm taking over.
No, it's different.
Yeah,
Until you have a SaaS or a product. I don't think
Why?
Or a physical store.
You can create info products and be an entrepreneur. People have sold.
Yeah, you can.
Ty Lopez.
People have made a lot of money.
Yeah,
Ty Lopez only sells info products.
Let's look up to Ty Lopez. He's a good influence.
Yeah, in my
I
eyes,
heard a Ty Lopez podcast the other day, and he was fantastic.
In my eyes, if you sell info products and do that, you're still an entrepreneur, but it's not the same level as, because it's a lot easier to do, but it's harder to market. But it's easier to create a Notion template and let people download. Like I've done that, you know. But
people download.
I also heard down.
Let people be disappointed in your work. Let people download it. But it's another thing to create something with code, design it, improve the features, improve the functionality, improve how fast it is.
Yeah, I think the definition is. I think the definition is kind of changing. Like, I think that maybe is like the traditional sense of the word entrepreneur, but like someone starting a YouTube channel for me is a entrepreneur. Someone doing no code projects is an entrepreneur.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. For me, a PDF isn't there yet. You're an entrepreneur. People make millions of dollars. People make millions of dollars with PDFs.
You would be surprised.
What
have you ever heard of Kayla Venus?
The type of entrepreneur that I want to be is software.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about who we look up to. I think it's an interesting talk. I don't know. You go first.
No, you go first. I have no idea anything about that.
I didn't have anybody in mind, but
yeah, you go.
Well, actually, go ahead.
I got nothing right now.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of not only the My First Million, but how I built this podcast. And they've interviewed a bunch of obviously really crazy guests, but there's one that stands out, which is to me, which is Paul English. So it's the guy who founded Kayak.
Really?
Yeah, he's the guy who founded. Fuck, I forget all the other things he founded.
I thought we weren't swearing. Hello.
Yeah, it's different now. So I don't know. It's these like serial entrepreneurs. That's one side of the people who inspire me. People who just like, hold on, wait, I'm going. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that. So that's like one side where it's like these guys that do it really big and they do it multiple times over. He did Kayak, he did Glassdoor, I believe, which is like, what the hell? How can you do both of those? Yeah. And he's done like 10 or 15 different projects, most of which you'll recognize. And then on the other side, I think I'm a really big fan of the whole like indie hacker space, which I think now almost has like a bad rep. I'm not sure. There's a lot of like
Why?
In what way?
Because it's just like it's like too trendy now. It's like everyone's just trying to launch like a little
Digital
AI,
nomad.
AI product, which we did as well. AI. Hopefully the website is down because we're done with it. But so yeah, on the other side, we have people like Peter Levels. If you guys don't know, you guys got to check out his Twitter. Levels.io, I believe, is his Twitter. And it's just this guy who I think he was one of the first, or at least one of the most publicly well-known first people to do it, to basically be traveling, like the purest form of the digital nomad. He was traveling and he was building these different projects. And these projects now make him an insane amount of money. And I think he's up to like 3 or 4.
Way more. Way more.
He's
Maybe that
he's a
was
monster. He's a monster.
I mean, he has Nomad List, Remote OK,
No, the list goes. It's just
Rebase, the like company to help you move to Portugal.
now he has like 2
Bunch
different
of
AI products.
AI products.
the
Foot maps. Like, he has a bunch of really cool.
Yeah, so it's like it's really easy, I think, to look up to like the Paul English, whatever. Obviously, we have the classic Steve Jobs, whatever. I don't even want to like mention that because it's too much. So yeah, so you have these people like Peter Levels, and the guy who founded Banner Bear. There's a few examples of these guys, and what inspires me a lot about these people is that they show you how easy it is. Not how easy, but how quickly they can launch products. And obviously they're pretty phenomenal developers, right? Which is something that I also aspire to be. But that to me is the craziest form of this type of like creation, which is like they have an idea and within like a week, 2 weeks, they've launched an MVP and they don't care. Peter Levels doesn't care about design. He'll put an emoji on literally everything. And I obviously disagrees. I love emojis now because of him. So it's like, I don't know. That to me is like the part of this space that inspires me the most. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think?
I'm inspired by there's two specific companies in the design space that I really like. One is called Linear and one is called Super Creative. So Super Creative, what both of these companies do is that they create ultra niche products for the design space, for the web design space, web developer space, or freelancer space. And creating something like that where I can launch these micro SaaSes in a month or two. That's one of the craziest parts about it because of the reach of the channel and how we could monetize it and who we could help with some of these products/projects. And they're quite unfamous, these people, but they're just in the Twitter space. And yeah, I look up to those guys apart from the Peter Levels moguls, apart from those guys.
Me as well. I don't know. Should we mention that I got you into this whole indie hacker thing?
We don't have to talk about that.
We can talk about it though.
I remember when you got into SEO because you looked up 10 ways to make money online and SEO was one of them. And you said, well, this is my personality now. This is what I'm doing. This is
We'll have to jump into SEO one day and how you like got started in it. I think it's a really interesting story.
Yeah, it's a funny
Fucking
story.
hilarious. Yeah, we can get into that.
Who inspires you?
Who inspires me?
Or who do you look up to?
Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, I can't come up with like anyone specific right now. I feel like this vague cloud of person inspires me, or this like type of person inspires me. The person that is like able to like create a lot of value in the world. The person who's able to do like good for the world, not create like some casino or like gambling product.
Dude, those make money though.
Yeah,
think
those
about
make
it.
a lot of money, but I don't know. I'm not really interested in that.
well, you're in the health space, so it's a good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
someone that like creates something like positive for the world, but at the same time is able to like operate at like a really high level and, you know, prioritize their health, prioritize their family. Like I really look up to just like well balanced, like high performing
Give me an example.
people. I don't know.
The guy who has the team of scientists looking after him or something.
No, I mean
Right.
like that's kind of
That's not balanced, dude. That guy like
that's
he like
very
drinks nuts. He like, wakes up at 6 a.m. and he has like a shake full of nuts.
What?
Yeah, he has a crazy diet full of
It's
vegan.
called almond milk.
No, dude, that is not almond milk.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it some more. Yeah,
Well,
I don't have a good answer.
I think all three of us are in a space where we help people. At least with YouTube, where we're educating. With Hevy, you're building healthy habits for people, and the products that we can create off of the audiences that we all have. So either with health, with design, with SEO, we can all build products that inadvertently help people. But aside from from helping people is going to be the freedom that the money can bring and all that.
What do you think of the saying? There's this, I don't know if it's in Spanish, but there's a saying where it's like, if you don't know how to do it, teach it. No, something like that. Or the
No,
people.
that's-
What's the saying? What's the saying?
Well, both of you are teaching it.
What's the
so-
saying?
It's the people who can't teach.
Yeah.
So
What do you think about
that's
that?
unfortunate because I am teaching. I'm also teaching in person once a year. A small thing. You don't need to talk about
At a
it.
university.
At a university, don't need to
That's
get
pretty
into
crazy.
But-
At Estade.
it. I'm a lecturer actually, but yeah, it's unfortunate.
So if you can't teach, huh?
If
Okay, what? I didn't say
those
it.
who can't, teach.
All right.
So those who can't do, they teach. So looking at all the professors who don't have any experience in actually building a company, and then they teach about business. That's kind of the theory behind that quote. But I don't know. I mean, you're also a YouTuber. You're also teaching, educating.
I'm lost, dude.
Dude, you don't know what an SEO is.
I mean, I don't think this is. I don't think this is true. Like some people just like really like being around others and have a fucking gift for teaching. Like you can really tell when someone
Good teacher.
like really cares about getting the points across, like really cares about you understanding a concept. I had a few just small handful of really good teachers, and what a difference they make in like whatever you're trying to learn.
Especially when you go to a good school, unlike Jaume who didn't go to a good university, but not even the world rank. But when you go to a
What we're gonna do? What we're gonna do?
when you look at a university lecture, if they're still practicing in their own agency or their own field, then that saying doesn't apply because they're still professionals at the highest level, but they're also teaching on the side. Like I had a few teachers, a few lecturers at my uni who were ex Samsung, ex LG, worked at Apple, they worked at all these places. And when you come from there and then you decide to teach, that's a different thing than if you're now like a 6th grade science teacher because it didn't work out. You know, it's a different thing.
But a lot of people like have this just like calling to teach, to be around like younger kids and just like teach science or teach humanities.
We don't
or
have to get that deep, man. I was just trying to bully Arnau a little bit.
gonna have to wrap it up.
Wrapping it up.
Before we do, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Carlos and Lena, which are some friends of mine, and they just created a podcast.
Are they
as
paying
well.
for the sponsorship?
They're not paying for a sponsorship. Yeah, they started a podcast a week or two ago, and we're more or less starting around the same time.
What's it called?
The podcast is called Holos, HOLOS, and they're going to be talking
You can find it anywhere.
Wherever you get your
it's
pods.
Wherever you get your pods.
on Spotify.
Lena, thanks for tuning in. We're about to smash your podcast. No, we don't get competitive like that.
Yeah, see, it starts out with I don't care about views, and then you get a little bit competitive, and
So naturally, also there's something to talk about. Naturally, the three of us are like hyper competitive, and then when you put three hyper competitive
Insanely.
brothers in the same family, then it's just like it breeds. I don't know, something like an animal that is just like not nice to be around most of the time, but other time we're super nice and lovely.
But Carlos and Lena are friends.
Carlos and Lena are friends, and we're super happy for them, and we look forward to smashing their podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
They said, well, Carlos said that he'd want to have me on someday.
Dude.
It's another guest podcast right there. Add that to the TV.
Yeah, no, that's
Add that to
exciting.
the LinkedIn.
Anyway, guys, let's wrap this up. Yeah, pretty informal. We don't really know what's going on, but yeah, if there's anyone out there watching, anybody at all, no, but
Send a signal.
yeah, no, thanks for sticking till the end, guys, and yeah, definitely like and subscribe because
You're putting this on YouTube?
this is on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Recording. We'll improve the video. Hopefully you heard us. You heard us okay.
We treat everything like a startup.
Yeah.
Done and dusted, and then improve it.
Carnivore diet. That's next.
Next up.
Next.
See the effects of my carnivore diet.
All right. Let's wrap it up.